For joining us, and I really appreciate you coming up here and being a part of DNQ Flashback. So great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, bud. Didn't expect to get the call. Didn't think I was going to make the cut.
Well, Hollywood, your personal company, LRD, does a lot of machine work. You guys do a lot of stuff for the short track racer. Talk about some of that work that you guys are doing and how it's going.
It's been going good. In year 4 right now. This is actually the first year full-time doing LRD stuff. Pretty much it was founded on the fact that I've excelled in the top 3, so let's give back to the short track guys. Do prototype engineering. We do shit from jet parts to wedding decorations and everything in between.
So you were a DNQ driver and then a DNQ owner, so you got to see both sides of the fence when it came to DNQ racing. Talk to me about being a driver in the DNQ series and then transitioning to becoming an owner in the DNQ series.
So the good part about, we started off driving in the rental series at GoPro, and it was fun. You can win a party on Saturday and go run for a win on Sunday. So becoming an owner, you came up with a great idea. Showcase the OG grassroots racing. Run what you brung. Very limited rules. Had to have a stock appearing engine. That was it. So go have fun. Break up the week. We either podiumed or we didn't finish. I knew I had Brandon in the seat. Wheel the fuck out of anything. And then I had the Rick Hendrick fucking bankroll.
Well, you ran a lot of rental races. In that time, who was the biggest rival or the biggest pain to race around?
Cordero. I mean, and he's out of that circle, but fuck me. I could pass this fucker 3 or 6 times at GoPro, and then he just dive bombed me because he had somebody pushing him, and I'm like, all right, next thing you know, we come out of the last turn at GoPro, I'm in the fucking weeds, and I just lost 12 fucking spots.
Well, the DNQ series has gone to a treaded Hoosier tire, and it has definitely changed the way the racing is, and we've seen a bunch of teams start up since we've made the switch. Will we ever see you either back in the seat or back as an owner in the DNQ Dirt Series?
I had this talk last Sunday. Once a month we have a meeting in the round table, and we just shoot the shit. And it was brought up. Want to go back DNQ racing? Everything's sitting there, except for Jopo. But you don't have a modified series anymore, so we got to go to a different engine platform, which is cake. I personally like the treaded tires because it closes up what you can actually do. Yes, it knocked out a bunch of the chemicals, but there's still some stuff you can do regardless. Puts it back in the person in the seat. Brandon's still ready to rock and roll. It's one thing you're not going to lose as a driver is able to hold the steering wheel. So we've thought about it. May have to reread the rule book because I believe it's changed several iterations since my day. But that's all right. There's gray area no matter what rule book you got.
The DNQ 500 a couple of years ago. You led the majority of that race, dominated it, should have won, but Corey LaJoie got you at the end. What was so different about that race and that day that you excelled so much and almost won?
So, Victory Lane is a driver's track. When we raced at GoPro, it had a lot to do with your weight. I ain't gonna lie, I'm jumbo petite. Always have been. Even when we raced WKA, I was overweight. And Victory Lane was just fat kid friendly. I was thankful enough that the officials allowed us to run our fire suits around our waist instead of all the way up because I believe in practice I fell out of the seat. So we started the race and just fuck. I think Corey out-qualified me and he had to change carts, I think. So he went from the tail end, ran through the whole field. The only problem with me was overrunning it because every time you come down that front stretch, you look at the leaderboard and you're like, I got this. And then shortly thereafter, towards the tail end of the race, Corey passed me like a gentleman. You know, unlike the other people that I was passing, overdrove it. I'm not gonna lie, but it was good, actually contending for a win.
You are one of the first guys as far as DNQ content goes. We did a Bush commercial with you at Brandon Upp's house. We did a pre-race in a truck, and I'm talking like the first 2 races we've ever done. First races, we were in the back of a truck, and you were part of that as well. Then we did a commercial at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which totally should have never happened because we didn't pay anything for it. I mean, talk about being part of some of that content and being a part of it from the start.
The commercials, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the commercials. We had the Folgers commercial. We had the Bush Light. You and your brother pulled some strings. Somebody paid like $60,000 earlier in the day to rent out the racetrack, and the guy taking care of it all was like, dude, I love your shit. Do what you need to do. And, you know, we had fun. That's what the DNQ series was founded upon. Instead of sitting at the bar on Saturday night, bench racing, about who's got the bigger dick, we went to the racetrack on Sunday. Some people hung over, some people still drunk, some people actually took it seriously, and we were at even playing field on Sunday morning.
Well, the race you chose to watch today was the 2014 Pontiac Excitement 30 from the Iredell County Fairgrounds. This was the first time we ever went to the fair. Why did you choose this race?
I picked this race because it was the actual hometown race, Troutman. You know, I spent a lot of hours in Troutman. And the fairgrounds, it was a great race. It was huge for Bigwood Motorsports and Brandon Blake, and just felt that there was a lot more content about this race than there was just Victory Lane. I feel like we could really talk about the meat of the story of Bigwood Motorsports.
All right, well, let's check out this race, and I'm sure there's a lot of really good memories in it. I'll tell you what, this was actually the first race we ever did at the Iredell County Fairgrounds, which was pretty cool. Like, I'd never been there before, and it was cool to run this race. But like, I mean, even you guys were started second row, so your stuff was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think this was the first actual race that we finally got the stutter out of the engine. So all the other races really fucking pissed that they wouldn't run worth a shit.
Mm-hmm. I like seeing Tyler in there. He just said earlier, he was like, this was 30 pounds ago.
Oh, God,
easily.
Yeah. Now he looks like he's about to give birth.
Yeah.
God, we had fun back in this day.
Yeah, that's like we just talked to Tim about it, and it was like, dude, we had so much fun. Like, you think about the guys that raced, it was a good amount of racers. The guys racing in it were good. You know, they were true racers.
Yeah, you know, most of us didn't race like every week anymore.
Yeah.
So these midweek races were fun to come out and just dick around with our friends.
Especially here, you come and you see the fair. You see all the people around there. This is like the biggest crowd we get all year, basically, when we ran these races.
Yeah, this was our hometown race because Brandon's house wasn't but 2 miles up the road from here.
What's cool about this race was people had radios, so you were spotting for Brandon Blake, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had a scanner going, recording it. So, like, the in-car that you hear on this is the actual in-car from some of the guys' radios. And look at what a disaster. Like, you knew that was coming.
We go from fourth to first right here on the first turn. There's Tim and I run out of talent like always.
Yeah, like every piece of in-car audio you hear here is legit. Like, there is no bull in-car cameras or in-car audio stuff. But
yeah, there was no censoring, especially this race.
Mm-hmm.
We got done with this race, and Brandon was like, "Fuck, I needed to push the talk fucking button so I could holler back at you." That was some funny ass shit.
Yeah, I remember. we'll get to it here, obviously, but
A little bit different layout. But
when Brandon and you guys were racing, it was fun to watch you guys run because there was a couple races you almost won. I mean, I know you finished second a bunch and you guys ran really well, but how much fun was that for the both of you guys running these races?
Oh, it was fun because, like I said, we were just all out here having fun with our friends. And just, you know, we ran all the big races together as a team, just running up and down the tri-state area. And just to come out here and race with Nye and Efert and, well, Ridenhour's a cool kid except for this fucking race where he becomes a dick. But, you know, coming to the DNQ series this initial year, I believe we led the most laps, but finishing podiums and just not finishing because we were developing Jopo, which was double throwdown engine.
This, there you are in audio, which is funny, but like this place was, you couldn't miss the line. I remember running this race, and if you just barely got up in the dust, it was over. It was really
Dude,
bad.
there was a fucking whip section down the back stretch.
Yeah, it was like washboards go. I remember that. It's. I mean, look at this race is crazy because you got guys that are so far off the pace, and like you're just working lap traffic the whole time. Like you guys are getting ready to lap a bunch of people, but it's a caution left and right.
This time it's Brad Buskirk on the
Buskirk.
front stretch got loose.
one of my favorites in the
Jesus.
field. He was disagreeing with the officials when I spoke to him earlier, and
That was that window.
There goes the 9. See, you were
So-
wheeling it there.
So the window the picture we just posted was from this race.
Yep.
He had that window on that thing, and we were okay with it. But if he wrecked, he peel somebody's face off with it. That was our biggest problem.
Back of Xfinity glass.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, you gotta be, you gotta think outside the box in DNQ because that's pretty much what this thing was founded on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we were cool with it, but it was just like, you know, if somebody gets hurt, it's more like a liability problem.
Yeah.
I love putting these old commercials in these races too.
Feel the excitement. That's one thing I do miss about all this is making of the commercials that we used
Oh,
to do.
dude, we made so much stuff, so much content over the years.
I believe that the DNQ series is what put Bush back in NASCAR.
There's a lot of things that I look at that we were doing that a lot of people started doing not long after we did it. So I always find it funny that,
Innovative.
yeah, I can't say directly that they're watching this, but there's some stuff I look at and I'm like, man, that looks awfully similar.
Yeah,
But,
DNQ Carney Series, bro.
like all this,
Oh,
all the footage back here for the carnival stuff is just stuff I found on YouTube. This is definitely not the Iredell County Fair. Absolutely nothing to do with the Iredell County Fair.
Thank you very much for sponsoring.
Yeah, I know. Look, there's a beer tent.
Yeah.
There's definitely no beer at the Iredell County except for in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
Pits.
Yep. So what do you remember from this race? Besides, do you remember any specific details that you and Brandon had
I mean,
going on this race?
we unloaded. We practiced like a bag of dick because motor was still sputtering. And I will say it's probably the only thing Timmy and I ever really came through for me. We were going through the fuel system, and because of these big engines we were running in the modifieds, we were just pulling too much vacuum and just blowing fuel through the carb. So we fixed it, went out there, qualified pretty decently, and told Brandon, hey, wreckers or checkers, bud. We get a new chassis if we need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think sometimes we had that issue. We would pull the vacuum from the head and we'd move it up to the valves or something like that. I can't really remember what
Yeah,
we did all
came
there.
from the intake manifold and just went to the valve cover and fixed the whole fucking thing.
Man, this is people wrecking left and right. Like this is terrible. Oh, Bulldog.
There's Bulldog with Lady Bulldog.
With Lady Bulldog.
We had to get the bulldog in there.
I mean, he is.
Yeah, this is terrible.
And it was
You're
good,
wrecking every 2 minutes.
Short track.
Back to the racetrack.
Yeah, well, that's the the level of
Yeah.
talent here.
You guys are leading right here.
You're, we'll say top 6 have talent. The rest of them all just field fillers.
Green flag, Brandon Blake in front, Holzbauer second, and Dan Ridenhour making that.
Well,
move
Ridenhour
second,
rolling the
leading
bottom
second
here.
car on the back.
And the top 3 or 4 are really, really even. They're dicing it up here, and
You guys were fast this race. Like,
Yeah.
you've been up front the whole time.
Had a good set of tires.
Let's go on board
You know,
with
we worked
Tyler
on
Young.
them
Looks
for
like
about a
it's,
week, as
we're looking at a
always.
crotch cam instead of
You know,
regular cam.
drink the
well,
prep,
Tyler,
wipe with the beer,
I
or
believe
flip it and reverse it,
mounted his camera.
however you want to do.
It's not supposed to be right if he had to do it
Tyler wasn't doing bad in this race either.
Right now, he looks to be pretty stout.
I believe this was his first ever dirt race.
No
Yeah.
problem, and he's working on Summers right now.
He was actually doing pretty good, if I remember correctly. Obviously, we can't tell because we're looking at his legs. This is like one of the first couple races we edited, so it's like there's so much extra, and some of the graphics are terrible. But I mean, you got to start somewhere, and that's what happened with this. Obviously, we just watching his feet and his hands.
Hey, good thing is he never came off that right pedal, though.
Yeah, I had to hit the brakes getting in to get it to turn enough. The O'Quinn Bojangles caution.
God rest his
I busted my ass getting into 3 and 4. I remember that. I was running like 4th or something. Busted my
I
ass.
believe I gave you your first start in the go-kart race.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Yep. With one of the first official ones.
Yep.
That was a weekend to remember. This is the controversial part right here, if I remember correctly.
Makes the move on.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Now the thing is about that, I didn't care that he did it. The thing with Ashley and everybody else that was involved with it, they didn't want him reaching over, and that
Like the black flag being
she immediately lost it. She immediately lost it and said they gotta go and stuff like that. And I was like, look, it's whatever you guys got going on, and you guys run the racetrack. So I remember after that, I had Brandon mad at me. Everybody else is mad at me. Is he didn't race in the next couple of races? And I was like, man, I don't know what to do. But yeah, showing the black flag every 2 minutes, which I watched a video not that long ago, somebody doing that. We were laughing about it because he had his hand on the cart, which is pretty funny. But
I believe it was the track officials, not the series officials.
yeah,
That
he should have shut his engine off at that point. You may as well.
well, you know, he grabbed onto it so he make sure that it didn't bounce off turn 4 fence because Ridenhour was down in the weeds.
Yeah.
To make that pass. And right about there, I ain't gonna lie, I was pretty fucking pissed. And then old big boy with the headset, wanted to keep running.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, there's a bird. Yeah.
Jeremy's asked him to leave.
Man,
Yeah,
I remember that. That was
they continued. Y'all continued the race here, but wish we would have had some in
Listen to the audio.
footage of rest of the bullshit that went down.
They're gonna yell at you like a motherfucker. They're telling you to pull off. Onto the track, hand the guy a towel. Now arguing with officials.
As you see it zoomed in there, he reached
Clearly.
over.
Was that what it was? He was trying not to hit the wall?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. He Ridenhour tried to do the 8 tires turn better than 4, and Brandon. Years
That's
of
actually
experience,
pretty smart. I would have never thought to do that.
I mean, that's the reason why
Ridenhour inherits
he sits in the seat and I did not, because my dirt career was short-lived at the King of Clay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, these guys wrecked every 2 minutes.
I believe it took y'all a while after we had to pull off to finish this race because we were getting ejected from the racetrack. Not only from the race surface.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Oh, yeah, 9. So, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. I believe that wasn't that the first cart that he built?
I have no
I
idea.
think that was the Knighton.
I'd have to go back and ask him. Still impressed with Tyler here, running 4th.
Solid top 5 right now.
Yeah, he's got to be somebody I'd like to have in here to interview because he has such a rich history in this series, just like you two. I mean, a lot of the guys that ran the rental stuff transitioned to this because it was fun to run. And
Yeah, definitely. The rental stuff was fun because it gave you a reason to get out of bed on Sunday. You didn't have to do the walk of shame and explain to old girl, hey, you got to get the fuck out of my bed. You just go, hey, I got to go to the racetrack, so you got to leave.
yeah, man, look how dirty it was.
Oh, dude, it was saucy when we rolled out there because I think it rained earlier in the day.
Yeah, I remember there were a couple times you get up out of the groove and it spin the tire on you because it was so fluffy. It was bad. Ridenhour was always good here. Holzbauer was good. I mean, these guys racing in this. Well, never mind.
And then you had the old boy in the Captain America over there that had old Olympic. I think it was a Testarossa that they cut the front end off and updated it. And that
Yeah,
thing,
Jeff Kuhn.
Yeah, that thing ran like a badass.
Holzbauer, man, that was a big hit. This place is tough. I mean, there's been times we sent people to the hospital. Some things have happened. I mean, Right there, you getting that
Yep.
dust. It's over.
Hold on for the ride.
It was ice. Like, it was bad. I did the same exact thing not long before that.
Like,
Look at his head go back. Boom.
they ran the outlaw carts here, but they had a shit ton more side force. Us, we had about damn near about the same amount of horsepower. And
Ran out of fuel.
oh, too tall.
This track's changed so much now. It doesn't have the runoff area anymore. They changed the fencing, and now it's got a little bit of banking, I guess, to catch you.
I think this is my one and only time I've been there.
Maybe Too Tall Medill will not pay attention to
Decided
those
probably
women
never
and
to go
actually
back.
pay
It was
attention to
Yeah.
whose car.
I can't wait to watch the treaded tires run on this track.
Yeah.
That is
I'm
gonna be
interested in
interesting.
Seeing your treaded tires.
That is going to be interesting to watch. I can't wait for that.
Embarrassing, but
That's opened it up so much. I mean, it is unbelievable. Now we have like 20-something cars racing in that.
Yeah, and it's closed up the racing.
Oh, big time. Big time. And then you can run the top, get runs on each other. But this track right here is going to be very interesting to watch.
As you look, the white flag is out for Dan Ridenhouse.
Man, this guy was something else. Let me tell
Oh, yeah,
you.
he pulled away.
The Dale Earnhardt of the DNQ series.
He's going to win this big race.
For the
I
second
don't think he
time in
graduated
2014,
past the
Dan
5th
Ridenhour
grade.
wins Iredell County Fairgrounds
That was fun to
Pontiac
watch this.
Excitement 30. Great
Oh,
race
yeah.
for
I think
Ridenhour and,
you came home with a top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I finished third or something like that. I remember I pushed Stanley out of the way to get that spot.
Really dominant up
Didn't really
Hey,
matter
inch
at
or
the
a mile
time. But
wins a win.
yeah.
field, but
Well, Hollywood, I really want to thank you for not only being a part of the series over the years, but coming up here to take some time out of your schedule to be a part of DNQ Flashbacks. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was good catching up, good talking about the good old days, and maybe one of these days we can actually have a interview in Victory Lane.
That'd
Do
be
this
nice.
again. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, buddy.